All right, and we've made it to the end of the manual J, and we've walked through opening a new project in RightSoft, importing PDFs, putting in project metadata, envelope walls, R values, envelope windows and doors, roof, ceilings, attics, floor foundations, infiltration, ventilation, room by room definitions. Now, running the manual J plus reviewing the loads. What we're going to do is we're going to go to show, and we're going to go to load calculations and load meter. Okay, load meter. And we're going to look at our load breakdown. It looks like we have 28,163 sensible BTUs, 5,561 latent BTUs. This would translate to a little bit more than 3 tons, so this is probably going to be close to about a 3.5 ton system. If I had to guess, we're going to look at our messages. Zone entire house has relatively large fenestration gains for part of the day. 21 supply registers. We haven't done the manual D yet, so these other 2 messages will go away once we've done the manual D. But this is a good spot when you're looking at the load breakdown. This message will remind you on some stuff if you have missed something. And in this case, these 2 probably don't matter so much because we're going to do that. We just hadn't made it there yet. But this one is your AED, your diversity for your windows. And if you look right here, it says that there's a lot of windows on a given side of the house anytime at a given time during the day, and it tells you right here that at roughly 5 o'clock. At 5 o'clock, there's going to be a portion of the house that is going to struggle to stay comfortable during direct sunlight because of the glazing load or the load coming through the windows at a particular time of the day. And that's probably, if I had to guess, the northwestern side of the house right here. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4 windows. 4 windows there with no covering. And so it's just saying that this is probably not a great design to have that many windows. Now, this could change also once we change and get the correct orientation of the house. It may not be as bad. But in this particular orientation, those windows are going to be a problem and are going to be really difficult to overcome the load, the sensible load that is coming through those windows. Your load breakdown, this is really good. You can look through Manual J, and Manual J will give you a pretty broad kind of check your work guide. And it's in, I don't remember what section it's in, but in one of the sections in the Manual J, it literally tells you that your walls should be about 10% of the load. The glazing should be about 20%, so on and so forth. And so you can always pull that section of Manual J up and just cross-reference your work and see if you are in the ballpark. Anyway, I've done enough that I can look at my load calculation and I can review over these numbers right here and just see if I missed anything. Or if something looks crazy, like I haven't seen that before, then probably what's going to end up happening is I'm going to go back and dig into it and dive deep and look and see if there wasn't something that I messed up. To be honest with you, my internal gains look good. My vent gains look fine. My duct gains look okay. Everything looks pretty normal to me. There's only one thing that really stands out to me, and that is this right here. This is insane to have that much glazing load heat coming through window and a portion of the house. Yeah, that's a lot. So I may just go back and look through my windows, make sure I didn't do something stupid here. 4 foot 5. Got pretty efficient windows. Make sure I didn't accidentally fat finger it, and it's 70 feet tall window or something like that. And I'll show you, I don't use this just a whole heck of a lot, but might be good for this. If you go to the 3D viewer, just spin the house around a little bit. I'll look and see if you did anything like super crazy, it probably would show up here. Like if you drew a 70-foot tall window, then you'd see it immediately. Oh my God, that window's huge. Which I don't see. Everything looks good to me. So I don't have any windows out of place. Okay. So I'm going to close 3D viewer and I'm just going to look at my compass and I'm going to change my compass to the other direction. Just flip it around to a few different directions and it doesn't really seem to matter too much. Seems like pretty much anywhere I turn it. Windows are pretty rough. So north would be the lowest there, but all right. And that's how you check your work. I don't think there's anything going on with the windows. I think it's just they have a lot. And it's a small house to have this many windows. And so anyway, but that is essentially how you check your work, how you go back through and determine if everything looks okay. You're just looking for red flags, right? You're looking for nothing that's just going to pop out at you. But when you do enough load calculations, you're going to start to recognize certain numbers that show up in certain places. And for instance, you'll know that, hey, I should have roughly about 12% here. I should have about 10% here. And then so as you do them, you'll develop a skill of being able to look and what's the word that I'm looking for? You'll be able to spot problems based on that kind of breakdown. That's the way that I check my work. I'm sure there's others will do more, maybe do a little bit different. But for me, that's the easiest way to check my work. And works pretty well for me because typically, unless I do something just absolutely stupid, I'm usually pretty close, even if I made a few little small mistakes. But typically, that breakdown will tell me like, oh no, like you screwed something up pretty bad somewhere. I use that feature to check my work. At this point, we're gonna look at our total load calculation here, and looks like we came back with about 3.3 tons, 27.5. 40. It's actually 3.3 tons on the heating, a little bit less on the cooling. And that's really it. There's not too much else. Okay, so that is going to wrap up the manual J portion. And we are going to move into the manual S portion next. So I appreciate you hanging in there with me. I know this was a kind of a long, but it was very detailed. And I'm going to break this into chapters and that way you don't have to watch the whole thing at once. But thank you for hanging in there. I know it was a lot. And we will pick up on the manual S next, followed by the manual D. And then we'll go into the bill of materials and a few other things as well until we get through the entire process of what this position entails as design, not just design, but ensuring that we have the material list uploaded, the plans uploaded, and like just the captain steering the ship. At this point, if you're in this position, you fail to plan or you plan to fail, right? So you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And that is the position that you're in whenever you're designing and prepping for the job, is that the guys can go out there and absolutely nail what you put on paper. But if what you put on paper sucks, then the end result is going to suck. So set them up for success. Do the best you can. Take your time. Check your work. Read the manuals. And you'll be all right. I'll see you back next time picking up on the manual S, and then eventually into the manual D after that.